Hiya, this is Tao, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you how to clean the top of a cooker. Now, a lot of the time our wives cook and clean for us and do a lot of things for us, and they're cooking day in, day out, and one of the things that they leave behind is the top of the cooker. It's caked with grease or fat or whatever dirt there is, and it'll be a good gesture just to clean that cooker, and it'll be something that she'll appreciate because she hasn't gone around to doing it yet. So there are three things that you'll be needing for this task. First of all, you'll need some spray, Dettol spray or Mr. Muscle or whatever you have lying around the house. Now, I don't tend to use these commercial sprays. I've got the bottle, obviously. Once I've run out, I filled it up with soda crystals, which you can get from somewhere like B&M Bargains for 50p for a big pack, and some water. Other people like to use other things like vinegar with some bicarbonate of soda or baking powder, and it does the job just as well. Now, what we do and what I've got there is just a sponge and a Brillo pad. All we do now is we take these off. These are caked in dirt, so we just take these off. Ideally, we should be giving these a once over and putting them in the sink, but for the purposes of this video, I'm just gonna leave them to the side for the time being. Now, a lot of people, what they do is they take these off as well. Now, mine just pop off. I don't know about yours. But the one thing to make sure is that, oops, if I can get it back on. If you're about to take these off, make sure they're set in the off position. You don't want to, can you hear that? I don't know if you can hear that, the gas is coming out, and then take it off, and then you die of gas poisoning. So you turn it off completely, then you take it out. You get your cleaner, spray it all over the place. If you want, you can take the rings off as well. So these rings have two pieces. Take them both off. You need to be careful you don't get any moisture or liquid in the tubes of the flint. That's the flint. When you press the flint, obviously the flame comes up and it surrounds the edge of the ring, and you don't want to get any moisture in there or in here. So just be careful about that. Also put some here as well. Again, taking care not to squirt inside the holes, and also sometimes because your cooker's at an angle, so it's tending to lean over there, and then it's ascending and then leaning over here. So sometimes the liquid can seep into the flint here or into these holes, so just be careful. What I do is I make a start on these first with the Brillo pad, so that there's no chance of the moisture going anywhere. In circles. And then make a start with the rest. And as you can see, it's fairly easy to lift off. Now, sometimes when you have something like this, now this is quite fairly new addition to this cooker. It's not been caked on for so long. It's only a day's worth. So it's coming off relatively quickly. But if you have caked on grease that's been there for many days, weeks, or years, then you might need to just soak it with your liquid or vinegar or bicarbonate of soda. Soak it for half an hour or an hour, and then give it the once over with the Brillo pad. So all it takes is a lot of elbow grease, and this is why the men should be stepping up and doing this task. Anything that requires a little more effort, it's always good in the relationship to just step up and take charge and just do it. Just get it done. Do whatever it takes to get it done. once you've done that, you can either get your sponge and do this job. I like to wait and use a paper towel, so I like to use the paper towel first. Just get rid of the solid objects, pieces of rice and dirt. Just scoop them away. Put them in here. And then do some more. Just use the sponge, give it a wipe, make sure everything's coated nicely. Again, take care around the flint tubes, and then it's easier to do it with this other dishcloth, so I've got one of these, like a larger sponge. So So as you can see, it's becoming clean and shiny now. Now ideally you should be soaking these as well, but I don't really bother right now. For the purposes of this video, I'm trying to do things quickly. But obviously you can take your time, just drying the soap off. You've done that, then you put these back on. So they normally have notches that go in for the flame. So that's not the biggest one. It's here, and then these two notches go in here. There you go. And then we have this one here, which is, I think it's this one. This one goes there. And just make sure it's in the right place. And now, taking the dirt off again that's fallen from the rings. Now what we do is, normally give these a clean under the tap as well, and then dry them off. So we just fit these back on. And you also need to make sure that you turn the gas on, they're all lighting properly. Okay, so they're all lit properly, so that means there's no fluid stopping anything. And then you take these grid things, I don't know what they're called, but they're like placeholders for your pots. Take them, put them back on, clean up any loose ends, so they soap around the edge.